What is the strangest thing you've witnessed that you can't explain to this day? Maybe not supernatural, but I used to work at Walgreens. On an average day, working in the cash register, I see a tall black skinny man walk towards me. His back was bent back, walking like a creature from a B-movie. His eyes were bloodshot red. He had no teeth, he was wearing pants as a shirt, a rag covering his genitals, barefoot and smelling like sheet. We never deny service to homeless people, but this was something else. He brings up a 4-pack of natural ice to the counter, his hands were crazy twisted. I scan the beers, and put them in a bag. I tell him, "That's 3.49 sir," and proceeds to shout at me and starts waving his hands trying to reach his back. His screech sounded like he was in agony. He reaches back to his ass, and pulls out a $5 bill, covered in sheet. In sheet, this is important later. I act as politely as I can, take the bill, and before I can give him his change, he runs away with his 4-pack. I can't find a reason for him to run away, I was literally going to give him his change. But as soon as he walks out, he opens one of the beers and downs it in 2 chugs. And the next one as well. And the next one. And the last one. He proceeds to scream and run around outside the store, harassing customers. I call my manager, and he calls the cops. Walks outside meanwhile to scare the poor guy away. The guy proceeds to take his shirt off, and starts banging it on the floor, shouting. Moments later the cops show up and try to cuff him up. He obviously resisted. To say it was brutal would be an understatement. He got shoved in the back of the cop car and started screeching like a mating cat. He was not having it. He was a true warrior. But seconds before finally getting the door closed, he gives me the dirtiest look I've ever gotten. A look that said, "This is your fault, I will find you." All of this happened while Party in the USA by Miley Cyrus was playing in the background. Fast forward, I ask the manager what to do with the bill. He says, "Money's money, keep it in the register." The stench was awful both for me and the customers. I decided I had enough and handed it as change to a cool dude who had no problem with it. The next day a customer pays me with the same bill. I tried so many times to get rid of the bill, but it always kept coming back. Always. One day I said fuck it and just took it and threw it to the trash compressor. Never to be seen again. I swear his screech still haunts me to this day. 2 years later. I can't explain it. This is what happens in South Florida. Standing in line at a convenience store behind a pair of EMTs, a college student and a father in his 40s with 2 kids. I witness in quick succession, the college student nod to the dad nod the kids nod to cashier, the cashier nod to the EMTs, followed by them all leaving together through a service exit. I was told to go to the next register. I was walking home from the movie theater with a friend/neighbor of mine. It was about 8 p.m., and the walk took us down some major roads and through the suburbs. 45-minute walk through residential and commercial areas. We saw absolutely nobody. The whole walk, we saw no cars, no people, nothing. Well, not quite nothing. We did see the creepiest fucking shit ever. An ambulance, parked outside a house, lights on, doors open, no paramedics to be seen. Just sitting there in silence. The whole thing was like a goddamn zombie apocalypse, it was insane. To this day I have no idea what was going on. Take this with a grain of salt, but I always understood an ambulance with lights on but no siren meant they were transporting a deceased person. The paramedics may have all been inside the house talking to family, and with a dead person there is no rush. I was in a small airport in Madagascar and I swear to God I saw 500 people get off a plane that should seat no more than 70. I was lying in bed with my girlfriend watching TV. We're the only ones in the house and the shower turned on, like a steady stream, not just dripping water. I got out of bed, terrified, walked into the bathroom and turned it off. Had to turn the knob 90 degrees to shut it off. Never happened before and hasn't happened again, and it was a tight handle, not really loose as if its own weight could turn it. Damn ghost plumbers. I was taking a shower. I was the only person in our bathroom. Small shower, toilet, and sink. All of a sudden the lights went clean off. Now I'm showering in the dark. Power outage, right? That's what I thought, until I stepped outside of the shower and discovered the light switch had been flipped to the off position. You probably half flicked it and the switch was stuck in the middle. Then a light vibration or something caused it to tilt more one way than the other and it flicked off. I managed to accidentally leave my switches in the midway position fairly often. Not me, but my dad threw bags at United in Chicago for 20 years. He was at gate C-17 during the famous UFO incident, and he said without a doubt it was a UFO. He and everyone else, to include pilots, were pulled in by a bunch of suits and told not to speak of it or they would be fired. In case you aren't familiar with what Ditka_in_your_butkus is talking about. Okay, not the strangest, I have no idea what that would even be, but once I was at a hotel pool. There was a mother there with 2 kids, I'm assuming she was the mother, they called her mom, and the kids looked stereotypically Latin American and the mother looked stereotypically European. Anyway, whatever they actually were, they looked different from their mother. The kids spoke perfect English with no accent. And the mom, when she talked to the other woman she was with, maybe a grandma or something, she spoke perfect English with no accent. But when the mom would address the children in any way, she would do it in all seriousness, not in a joking manner with this really bad, fake Mexican accent. I have no idea what was going on there, but I watched this go on for like 2 hours until they left the pool. I was baffled. People confuse me sometimes, but this was a whole other level of WTF. When I was younger, elementary school, some days I would come home from school and see the shadow of a man in the window of my house. Sometimes I would just notice him in passing, other times I would only see him when I got close and jumped back. Every time I tried to see him again he would be gone. Now I don't come home at the same time, so I haven't seen him in about a year. But if I'm home at around 3 p.m., my dog will usually start barking at that window for no reason. I don't know why I could only see it when I came home at 3 p.m. from outside the house, but it's what happened. More info: there's nothing in the window tall enough to make the shadow I saw, and no one was home most of the time when it happened. When I was little and got in trouble, my mom used to make me go upstairs and look out the bathroom window. There was a cow on our roof and it really scared me. I remember being threatened with this punishment. Do I need to take you to see the cow on the roof? Honestly, it was terrifying, and I can still see the image of that cow looking in at me menacingly through the window. The problem is, there's no way there was a cow on our roof. Also, I have tried finding images online of a cow that looked like this one, and it doesn't seem to exist. The best way I can describe its coat is calico. There were big black patches of fur over each eye, kind of like how a killer whale appears to have much larger eyes than it really does due to skin color. Of course no one in my family knows what I'm talking about now, but I vividly remember this happening on more than one occasion. I have a large floor-to-ceiling, wall-to-wall window in my office that overlooks an intersection. It's one of the busiest intersections in my city, and, because of the layout of this intersection, is plagued by traffic shenanigans all year long. Shenanigans being crashes, fender benders, police traffic stops, people not paying attention to the right turn only and ignoring the no left turn here. One day I see a dude fall into the road as he approached the intersection on his bike and get hit by a car. Car was going maybe 20 to 25 miles per hour. I happened to be looking out and saw what happened. I'm only on the 3rd floor, so I run downstairs to help this guy only 20 feet from the building and just to be his witness. I get down there and the biker, his bike, and the car were gone. I asked pedestrians if they saw anything. Nobody did. It was strange, and I think about it now even a couple years later. I could only assume that the car ran, or maybe they took him to the hospital. But so quickly. It took me 20 to 30 seconds to get downstairs and they were gone.